In 1950, physicist Enrico Fermi asked a question that science still cannot answer. If the universe is so vast, so filled with billions of stars and planets, then where is everybody? By every calculation, the sky should be alive with signals, civilizations, structures, evidence. Instead, there's silence. And the more precisely we measure that silence, the less it looks like an accident. In this video, you'll see 3 documented scientific facts, each one recorded, measured, verified, each one exposing something wrong with the universe we think we understand. And together, they don't suggest a mystery, they suggest a system. That reality isn't accidental, because it's behaving exactly as if it was built. In 1961, astronomer Frank Drake created an equation to estimate how many communicating civilizations should exist in our galaxy. Even with conservative numbers, the result wasn't dozens, it was thousands. Thousands of civilizations far older than ours, old enough to spread beyond their home star, old enough to leave traces that persist for millions of years. Not messages meant for us, just consequences of existing. Energy use, artificial structures, technological fingerprints written into space itself. And yet, after decades of listening, after scanning star systems across the galaxy, there's nothing. No confirmed signals, no megastructures, no unmistakable evidence of intelligence anywhere. Nothing that can't be explained away as natural noise. This isn't because we haven't looked hard enough. It's because the expectation itself keeps failing. Because even one civilization, given enough time, should have left something impossible to miss. A dent, a footprint, a region of space that looks altered. But the universe remains clean, empty in a way that isn't chaotic but curated, which raises a disturbing possibility. What if the problem isn't that intelligent life is rare? What if the problem is assuming the universe is meant to be populated at all? What if its vastness isn't unfinished but intentional? A system that appears infinite while only rendering what's required. And if that's true, if the universe isn't silent because it failed to produce life, but because it doesn't need to, then the real mystery isn't where is everyone, it's why the system works so perfectly for the ones who are here. The universe shouldn't work, at least not the way it does. For life to exist, dozens of fundamental constants have to be calibrated with impossible precision. The strength of gravity, the mass of electrons, the rate of cosmic expansion. Change any one of them by the tiniest fraction and stars don't form. Atoms don't hold together. Life becomes impossible. In 1973, physicist Brandon Carter calculated the odds. The chance that all these constants would align by accident is so small, it defies comprehension. 1 in 10 to the power of 120. That's 1 followed by 100 zeros. To put that in perspective, the odds are so astronomical that many physicists refuse to call it a chance. Instead, they call it fine-tuning. As if someone adjusted dials of reality to create the exact conditions needed for consciousness to emerge. But here's what makes it even stranger. The universe isn't just fine-tuned for life, it's fine-tuned for observers, for entities capable of asking questions about the system itself, for beings capable of looking up the stars and asking why they're there. Almost as if the entire cosmos was calibrated not just to support life, but to support the experience of being alive, to create the perfect stage for consciousness to witness itself. And the strange thing is, the story doesn't end there. It moves closer. You see, everything you touch feels solid. The chair you're sitting in, the ground beneath your feet, your own body. But physics tells us something unsettling. None of it is actually there. At the atomic level, matter is almost entirely an empty space. If an atom were the size of the football stadium, the nucleus would be a marble at the center. The electrons would be specks of dust orbiting the bleachers. Everything else is nothing. You are 99.99999% of empty space. The sensation of solidity, the feeling of touching something real, is an illusion created by forces we never see. Even more unsettling, the particles that make up those forces don't have a definite form until they're observed. You see, in physics, that observation doesn't require human mind, only interaction. But until that interaction occurs, reality exists only as a range of probabilities, a range of possible outcomes, and none of them fixed. As if the universe delays its decisions until something forces it to choose. A world that never fully settles until something happens within it. Now, on its own, this might seem like a strange quirk of physics, but the strange thing isn't any one of those facts on its own. It's how well they fit together. A universe where life should be common but isn't. A universe calibrated with impossible precision. A universe that doesn't fully exist until it's measured. Each one unsettling. Together, they form a pattern. Not the pattern of a random cosmos, but the pattern of something designed, something built to feel real, until you look too closely. Something vast enough to seem infinite, but efficient enough to only render what's needed. Something fine-tuned not for life in general, but for your life specifically. Maybe that's why the universe feels so perfectly calibrated for observation. Maybe that's why it's empty, except for us. Maybe that's why it dissolves into probabilities when no one is watching, because it was never meant to exist independently. A reality that emerges from consciousness rather than consciousness emerging from reality. And perhaps, deep down, some part of you already know this. That quiet voice that whispers during moments of stillness. The feeling that something about existence doesn't quite add up. The sense that you're not just in the universe, but that the universe is somehow in you. Maybe your consciousness knows something your mind refuses to accept. That you're not a small accident in vast cosmos. You're the reason the cosmos appears at all. The observer for whom all of this was designed. The one for whom reality becomes real. And when you stop observing, when consciousness finally lets go, the universe doesn't continue without you. Maybe it simply waits. And if reality is consciousness experiencing itself through the observer, then it might explain why your mind seems to decide before you do.